Your salvation is here. Godfrey Silasnog, your new king, your new god. Bow for me, and all your dreams will come true.
You know what? That's amazing, Brian, because that was the first thing that they heard as we went live, was just you going hop, hop, hop.
Nice.
That's
Good.
fantastic. By the way, that had to
Excellent.
do with him eating crackers right before we started. But hey, everybody, welcome to Session 6 of Trials of Solaria, Broken Oaths. I am the Game Master, Dear Wolf, and joining me today are 4 of my friends who I play games with, video games. Blau, I will forever hate you for getting me into Hunt. Also love you. It's a weird relationship. That game is everything. By the way, anybody that's watching, if you haven't played Hunt Showdown, you totally should, but also shouldn't. It's your choice. You're an adult. You can make your own decisions, but I digress. I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves. We're going to dive right into the story, picking up where we left off last time. Let's start with Brian and then go from left to right and make this thing happen.
Hello, I am Brian. I'm at MindOverBrian on Twitter and on Twitch, although on Twitch I spell it with a 0. And I don't stream a lot, but I do, when I do, it is a blast. And I'm playing Venovar Holobrand, the human-passing Asmar who is a sorcerer and who has somewhat of a shady fast and who has just leveled an ultimatum at the Queen.
Ooh, so good. Blau.
Hi there, I'm Blau and/or Joe. I'm playing Eckhard Gerst, the legalistic and very anti-regicide war priest of Abadar.
Axel.
Hi, I'm Axel. I'm playing Mikhael. They are the Kitsune business person of the party. They're also somewhat anti-regicide. It depends on the king and or queen in question. Quite against in this case.
Andrew Baca.
Hi, I'm Drew. I'm playing Bixelink's Fizzbold, or Bix, and his weasel friend, Polly. We are mostly neutral on the regicide thing. We have little to do with kings and queens, but apparently we've been thrown in with them, so yeah, probably best to avoid it.
I like where your mind's at. But with that being said, we're going to open our scene with an aerial view of the Abadarian Mint in Varnhold. And because the location is so important, I have a map for it. Whoa! Immersion. It's fantastic. I know, everybody. Everyone's just, wow. Take a moment to admire the map. Love the map. Respect the map. But I digress. So we open with an aerial shot of the Mint. And from just above where you see this glass roof, you can see that there are several people inside. We see a smallish person who is knelt over this furry little creature being Bix. We see this fox business person standing there looking however they want to look. We see Eckhard, we see Venovar, and then we also hear some muffled shouting, some muffled, it's very heightened anger. And as we zoom down actually into the Mint itself, I'm going to pivot everyone down to here, we see the party and we see what had just transpired at the end of last session. We have the Queen with a knife. It's up next to Odife's neck. She has made this proclamation that we're going to use her, get everything we can out of her, and then I'm going to show Godfrey, I'm going to give him the same pain that he caused me. And she is just obviously beside herself. The leader of the Abadarian Mint, the High Priestess, has, how to put this, given a look past Venovar towards Eckhard of, are you going to do anything about this? But she herself is just sitting at the end of the table, slowly working on her cross-stitch. And I leave the scene to you all.
What was the last thing that Venovar said?
I seem to remember it something to the effect of, if you don't want to see what happens when I cast spark inside this powder horn, get the F away from my sister. And in respect for the stream still being young, I'm gonna. In the original version, I did say the full swear word.
Oh, we're
Good to know.
already 30 seconds past. So you can say fuck off.
Oh, in which case, yeah. In which case,
Yeah.
get the fuck away from my sister.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
There is a click of a firearm being primed, and you see that Dawkin has not raised his gun, but has cocked back the firing mechanism on his musket and looks edgy.
Hey, hey, Dawkin, I recommend you putting that down because fire is not good for powder, and don't have to cast spark in the powder horn I'm holding.
Hey, everyone, how about we all take a moment and calm down? Because
Oh, I'm calm.
Eckhard's gonna try and slide past Vin if he lets him into the room, like towards the queen.
I mean, if he wants to move into the blast space, that's fine.
Mr. Van Weaver, it would really be a lot better for this conversation if you stopped threatening the queen for just
Yeah, she stops threatening my sister, and we have a deal. But I don't trust you, Mikhael. I don't know what your
It's
deal is.
Mikhael.
I don't know whose side you're on, and honestly, I'm pretty sure it's not mine. So how about you shut the fuck up and let me talk to the queen?
I simply think that it would be in the best interest.
The grown-ups are talking still. Thank you.
I'm fully grown. Thank you.
Your Majesty, I don't think that revenge and pain are good motivators for civil government.
The queen's face is moist from tears. Her hair, which was, up in this very clean kind of, bun. It's very long. You can see strands have come out. She's obviously been just pacing and not focusing on her appearance, and is again still holding that knife white knuckled up, a small trickle, not even really a pinprick of blood on Odife's neck, and she just holds it there. But as you reach out to her with your words, she pauses for a moment. You can see she's kind of shaking just from anger, fear, frustration, and she has the blade up next to Odife's neck. And as you speak to her, it just for a moment retracts, and now instead of being pressed up against the skin, it is maybe an inch or so back. What would you know about the effectiveness of revenge? Who are you to tell me what I should and shouldn't do? That monster, that pretender, he took everything from me. And now I have a chance to take something that he cares about from him. She's no longer looking at Odife, though. She is now looking at Eckhard. And again, her face is flushed. You can see the glisten from the tears. She's obviously been crying.
I don't
Your
know if
Majesty,
he really cares about anything.
What was that, Bix?
I said, I don't know if he really cares about anything, Your Majesty. I don't think you can take anything away from him. He doesn't care about people.
Cares about his position, and killing her or hurting her won't rob him of that. Only us working together can push her
How does
that
hurting
back.
an ex-apostle or how does hurting an ex-apostle hurt the big man? He doesn't care about us. We're nothing to him.
The queen's expression remains angry. It remains frustrated, but there is also a new look of confusion, and you all get the impression that you are, at least in some way, starting to make a little bit of headway. She's like, it's like you've hit maybe a nerve, you've struck a chord with her, And she looks back at the girl, she looks to you, and then she locks eyes on Venevar, excuse me. Why did the two of you come here?
The pass exploded and we were on this side.
No. Why did you come here at all? What is your
The
purpose?
pass exploded and this was the side we were on. If you're just kicking us out of the city, that's fine. But if you lay another hand on her head, I swear to you, you won't hear right for the rest of your life.
They weren't with the apostles in the train. Well, he wasn't. But the apostles proclaimed that their mission was to show the captain of the constabulary, who's boss, I believe, or the mayor. Obviously, I don't remember, out of character, but in character, Eckhard would give the title of whoever they were going to go pay a visit when they got to the city to the queen.
I believe that full transparency should be a priority in this discussion. So perhaps you could tell us about your experiences being in the Apostles, since you just admitted it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that I wasn't talking to you, and clearly so did you.
I did. I'm only trying to help, Mr. Very well. I believe we got off on the wrong foot for some reason, but I am unsure what I have done to suffer your mistrust.
Well, see, I'm starting to think back on all the experiences you and I have had together, and there's a suspicious lack of you in any of the fights that we've had, and a suspicious amount of you having private time with the interior of this building right before I sent my sister in here, which means I'm pretty sure you told them something. I don't know what it is, but I'm beginning to suspect that this is your fault.
Mr. Van Weaver, I have never even met your sister before now.
You know what? That's entirely possible. Doesn't matter.
I like I've said many times, I'm not a man that can be useful in fights. I've been upfront about this from the beginning. I'm a business person. That is why I had a private chat with the Queen to begin with.
So there was a private chat with the Queen involved.
Well, of course.
Which, of course, you felt it not necessary to tell the rest of us. It's secrets on top of secrets with you. I think I'm done. I have more important things to deal with right now, such as the fact that my sister's bleeding from her neck. So,
Your Highness, I understand this is a personal matter to you, but surely this task is unbecoming of a lady such as yourself. I mean, it was quite a shocking sight looking at you threatening this young woman. And although I'm sure you have your reasons, surely we are better than that odious Godfrey, yes? Solaria handles prisoners with decency and finesse. I'm sure that is how the king would do it, is it not?
The mention of prisoners and finesse. There's like a light bulb that goes off in the queen's eyes. You can see the gears in her mind turning, and the blade moves farther away from Odife's neck, closer to its sheath on the queen's hip. Prisoners, yes. Dawkin, Mikhael, take both of them into custody, now.
Oh, fuck that. No. We
Both?
leave, or you leave us alone. One of those two. You owe me for helping defeat the hag.
I have a hidden weapon out. Can I take a surprise round? If I make a move right now.
I mean, at this point, this is very narrative, and I am going to trust you all as role players to make the right decisions. So if you want to describe what you do, and we'll see how it happens.
Well, the queen told me to do something, and I will step up to Van and bonk him on the head.
Oh,
That's what I will do.
Oh boy. This is about to get crazy. Well, everyone, it's been a good campaign, and we'll see what happens. So, are you trying to knock him out, I assume?
Yes, non-lethal. I've got a sap.
Okay, well, I don't know if you're going to deal enough damage to knock him out, but we'll see.
Can I?
Sure, go for it.
Attempt.
Go for it, yeah.
Okay.
Then,
I'm going to use...
I want to ask you, though, as a player, do you think
Yeah, if
that
you're fine with this. I will not do it if you don't. If you think
were
this
you
is
focused
bullshit.
on Mikhael in this moment, or did your attention pivot back to the queen?
Honestly, I think he's kind of split between them, especially because she just told Dawkin and Mike and Mikhael to arrest him.
Mhm.
So he's sort of done that thing that like you see bank robbers do in movies, where he's sort of turned his back. He's trying to keep all three of them in front of him. So
Yeah.
he's sort of standing in the doorway, trying to
I'd
keep all three,
like
because he's still got a powder horn.
I'd like Mikhael to roll a stealth, and I'd like Ven to roll a perception, and that's how we're going to decide this, if you notice him coming at you. Eckhard, what are you doing during this situation?
As soon as the queen says for those two to move on him, he's going to step in front of the banker and defender.
Okay.
Whether that is from the powder horn or from any violence that comes that way, that is yet to be seen.
All right. He waits for a moment when your attention is on the queen and is able to move in, and yeah, Mikhael, make the attack roll. PvP.
Okay.
Oh God.
GM
faux pas. What am I doing?
I'm going to spend a hero point to get a +8.
Okay.
Because I think this is narratively appropriate.
All right.
And I will use my rogue talent, underhanded, where if I make a surprise attack on a creature who has not seen my hidden weapon, then and it deals sneak attack damage, then it deals max damage.
Oh.
So if this hits, it will deal 22 damage.
Oh my.
Exactly enough.
That is a wild thing.
So +8 on this. Okay.
Is that a hit?
Oh yeah.
Okay. There's a moment, Venevar, where you are looking at the queen, and then everything in an instant goes black. And the last thing that you remember is just the feeling of the marble floor as you hit it. And I'm curious as to, what does everyone else do in this moment?
Or draws his lips into a line, kind of hits his fist on the table, seeing this as a failure of coordination and esprit de corps, as it were.
Bix is actually, he's still kind of focused on Polly because he's still injured. But he's like, guys, this isn't cool. None of this is cool.
My queen, let us deal with this rationally, all right? Please, allow me to be of help.
She looks at odife. She looks over to Ven. And she then looks over to the high priest, the high priestess. And the high priestess, who's just been working on her cross stitch, finally looks up and says, "Your Majesty, you seem a bit wary. Perhaps you should retire for a time. Allow us to speak with the prisoners and figure out what is best to do with them." For the first time, the queen actually looks like she's heeding these words fully. And then the confusion, the anger, the sorrow, the rage all fades away on her face to exhaustion. And she nods and says, "Yes, yes." She sheathes the blade and then slowly makes her way past Ven and then disappears upstairs, away from everyone else, into one of the back rooms. And I'm curious as to what the rest of you do in this moment.
I put away my weapon and I look over to Dawkin, see if he's going to help.
Dawkin looks to you, moves over, takes out some rope, binds Ven's hands, and then looks to you and says, I would be a liar if I said I don't know how you know the queen, but I'm going to go make sure she's all right.
I simply, well, I am an entrepreneur of many talents.
And what are you guys going to do with Odife and Ven in this moment?
Eckhard moved over and began checking Odife's wounds, because you said she had a couple, right?
1 HP of damage, superficial, but probably down to, as far as non-lethal, she's probably 1 punch away from being knocked out. She's very, very hurt.
Okay. Then he'd do what he could do, just make sure nothing was going to get infected or anything, and move on to make sure that, Vin didn't have his brains knocked out.
Ven is unconscious. He might have a headache when he wakes up, but other than that, he's doing fine.
I would
Step
I
out
would
into
go
the
over to
marble.
Vix, by the way, while this happens.
Marble Hall and kind of put his head in his hand.
Mikhael, what the fuck was that?
I realize that you're not well versed or interested really in the politics of everything. Is that right?
I live in the fucking woods for a reason, man.
Yes. So I apologize if I've somehow dragged you into this whole mess. However, I only did this to make sure no harm comes to the queen. And I harbored no negative feelings for the young man. And I would appreciate it if you would stick around for a bit so we can figure this out together.
I mean,
We
there's
have,
still.
We've been through a lot as a group already in just this past day.
Ven?
Yeah,
I'd like
I'm
you
not
to
going
make-
anywhere, man. But this is rough.
Ven, I'd like you to make a fortitude save for us, please. Okay. You are going to start to stir here over the next few moments and actually start to wake up from the blow to the back of the head. And as you wake up, you'll find that the powder horn is gone and your hands are bound very tightly in front of you. But I want to give, Axel and Bix and Mikhael just a few more moments, but you're going to wake up here shortly. And Eckhard, you'd see him rise.
I said what I wanted to say.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
In that case,
I
Ven, you
think I'm
start
good.
to you start to wake up.
Oh, you should have killed me, you fox-faced fuck. Don't turn your back on me,
Guys,
because I have more power than you know, and I swear to you.
No, Mr. Very One, trust me. I did.
Start to feel a little hot, you little bitch. Yeah, that's right. Now I can see you.
I did this for your own good.
Fuck you and my own good. You turned my sister over to the queen, and now you're turning me over. You betraying son of a bitch. You can eat shit and die.
Listen, you are a bit.
No,
I
don't need to hear anything you have to say. You fox-faced son of a bitch. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. You're gonna die in fire, and I'm not gonna regret it like I regret some other things I've done. You're gonna die.
You are not
and it'll be in
Ven.
my hands.
Then it is Odife, and she has managed to spit out she had a little bit of a gag on, and she's managed to spit it out, and she's looking up, and then from your position, if you get to a sitting position, you can just see the top of her face, and she looks very, very sad. Obviously, she's got a black eye. Her face is somewhat swollen. She's got the cut on her neck, but she manages to cough out. Then you sound just like them. You sound just like him. Don't let the anger don't let the anger consume you. She was just
Oh, I'm not
doing
consumed.
what
It's laser focused.
she was just. I know what I am. And then she passes out.
Now that is not really your sister, is it? Is it really? I am a bit lost. Ooh.
You know what? As far as you know, are you asking me to trust you now?
Listen, like you said, I could have killed you if I wanted to, but I didn't.
Do you
Do you
think
know
these ropes
why?
are going to stop me? And Ven will cast Spark again? Because it only takes a verbal component.
Oh no. Someone
Hey, magic, idiot. Ropes are nothing. You're only alive right now because I'm allowing it.
Remind me, who's carrying the Book of Shadows?
I imagine Eckhard, probably.
Eckhard, that book, as this anger, as this just pure raw emotion has been going on, you notice now for the first time that book is starting to feel colder and colder and colder. And in fact, whatever pouch, backpack, if it's tucked somewhere, it's starting to feel like you have an ice pack pressed up against your skin.
Bristle at it and pull it out and slap it down on the table in front of the high
Mr.
priestess.
Priest, would you mind gagging the young man so he doesn't cast any more spells? That would be.
Do we really
I-
need to be doing?
I don't have
that?
a horse in this race. The queen
I
didn't
am
command
quite
me to do
scared.
anything.
Very well. Listen, Mr. Van Weaver, you are a bit of a loose gun, as it were. I am sure you are aware at this point, and I would not have you endangering the queen or yourself. If I had not knocked you out in that moment, then perhaps Mr. Dawkin would have shot you in the head instead. Is that preferable?
Yeah.
Well, that is, I do not
You know
have a
why?
good answer to
Because
that.
Dawkins not supposed to be my companion. He's not someone who theoretically fought next to me. And in fact, Dawkins has more honor in his left foot than you do in your entire stupid fox body.
Honor is
Guys,
quite a useless thing, really. But
as frost is kind of going out from the table from this book, I don't think this is a good idea with this thing here.
The frost is starting to creep, and the high priestess of Abadar is looking at it, but you see no recognition. She doesn't know what it is, but she does look to you, Eckhard. My dear boy, is that supposed to be doing that? It's warping the wood.
He'd pull it out and put his backpack under it or something.
Is it
just pad the wood.
Is it just Ben's hands that are tied?
Yes.
Okay.
And oh wow, thanks, Lights. I appreciate you. And as that's happening, there is this kind of wispy blue smoke that is starting to, almost like frost and like cold air, starting to kind of emanate around it.
this does not look good. Anyone know what that is?
Sounds like you have a problem.
The book
I'm just a prisoner.
starts
Correct.
to, like, the frost starts to coalesce and kind of like spiral as though it's like a hand. It's starting to kind of reach in Ven's direction, just ever so slightly. It's maybe a foot off of the book, so it's quite far away from him, but you can see it starting to reach in his direction.
Eckard's going to try and cover the book with something, his cloak or whatever.
As you throw the cloak over it, you watch as the cloak hits it, and then it forms kind of this bubble, and then slowly starts to kind of settle in, as though it's meeting resistance.
Is the book closed or open?
It's closed.
Okay.
Ven's going to ignore whatever the hell is going on with the book and do his own quick check on odife. Not that he doesn't believe Eckhard.
Yeah.
He just feels it necessary to confirm.
Yeah, no, Eckhard would, as he's watching the thing deflate, kind of give the more thorough rundown of what he noticed on odife.
Taxmaster, it's Sarah from the doorway. Is your horse supposed to be like pitch black and also it seems like it can understand me? It seems a little different than it was last time.
Yeah, we noted that. We're gonna handle that next.
Okay. Okay. What? Okay. And then she steps back outside.
Mr. Van Wilber, please behave yourself while you're technically a prisoner. I mean, gosh, it really feels like I'm speaking to a wall right now. Could
Probably
you
shouldn't be speaking to that
cooperate?
wall at all.
Yeah, that's
Could you
gonna
cooperate
go
a
really
bit?
well for us.
So then odife is currently passed out, likely from exhaustion. She's been smacked around a bit. But
She's tied to the chair.
she's currently tied to the chair, correct.
Ven will look at Mikhael and start untying her.
I will not let that happen. Mr. Van Wilber, please.
She's
not-
unfucking conscious. What are you scared of, you idiot?
She is as dangerous as you are, both ex-apostles. Might I remind you what that entails?
It means I could have been your ally, but instead you decided to spit in my face and hit me with a sap? Yeah, I'm aware.
A sap, not a sword, as I could have again. Listen,
So
I-
you're hoping that I'm going to laud you for not having killed me? What you've done is made an enemy, you idiot.
No,
You and
I
the
am
queen, you and the
simply-
queen can't see past the end of your noses, which I'll admit for you is at least a little bit further.
With that
Now
line,
fucking step back.
with that line, I'd like to pivot over to Eckhard as you two are going at each other's proverbial throats, both furry and not. But with that being said, the high priestess has stood up and has moved over, and you see she has the holy symbol of Abadar, a beautiful gold gem-encrusted holy symbol of Abadar, and she takes it out and she grabs onto it. You see her eyes begin to glow blue, and you would recognize this spell right away as detect magic. And as she does so, she blinks a few times and recoils back. My boy, have you taken time to analyze this tome in which you found?
Eckhard would shake his head and say, "We came straight here from the hag. One of our companions was knocked unconscious, and we were all injured."
Have you prepared the ability to detect magical auras today, my boy?
He nods and he'd grasp his own holy symbol if she indicated.
She gestures towards it.
Hold his hand over the book and grasp his holy symbol.
So as you do so and your eyes turn this blue, you see this book before you. And as you analyze it, it is though you are looking into a black hole. So you can see just around it, you can see the wisps of like light, and you can kind of see reality around it, but the book itself is just a dark void. And as the longer you look at it, the closer and closer you feel like you are, almost as though, you know, you look into the void and it looked back or something like that. And it is pure darkness. And you are detecting necromancy, conjuration, transmutation, and some abjuration as well. But the most powerful of them is necromancy.
You know what language it is? I couldn't tell.
She looks at it, slowly shakes her head. It is, well, the brief glimpse that I saw, and at the mention of language, you actually start to see in that void, you start to see, like, imagine pitch black, so black that it like, just, you can't even see it. And you start to see, like, lighter black color, like lettering, and you start to see script. You start to see writing as though it's appearing before you. And as you watch that writing, you know, in the book, it starts to again feel like you're getting pulled closer and closer into it. I need you to make a will save for us, please.
Oh, shit. No.
All right. You start to, well, everyone else would see this. Eckhard starts to mutter to himself. And he starts to mutter to himself in a language that you do not recognize. And it sounds like a mixture of like bugs buzzing, scraping of, claws on metal. It is strange. It is dark. And Eckhard, your mind starts to feel like it's not your own. But a moment later, the high priestess grabs your shoulder, and she's a lot stronger than you would anticipate. She shakes it. Your spell fizzles. Her spell fizzles. And she says, my dear boy, are you still with us?
I'm here. Almost wasn't.
I don't
You
know.
kind of go pale.
I don't know what this book is, but I think we need to put it somewhere safe. And
The
then
vault?
take the time to... Yes, the vault would be the best place. And we must take the time to research it. As for... And she motions over to Mikhael and Ven, who are, at each other's throats. The two of you! Over there! In the corner.
Yes, High Priestess.
For the time being, let's set aside our differences. Let's...
Oh, I agree.
Mikhael?
Quite.
I am speaking, and as she says I'm speaking, Mikhael, you know that ring she wears? She brings it up. And she just kind of you see her play with it a little bit. I'm speaking to you directly. The boy was your friend, an ally. He fought alongside you. Is that not right, Venevar? You're muted.
Ven would cross his arms, but he can't, so he's like,
High Priestess, I'm sure you are aware that I was acting on orders from the Queen.
Mikhael,
and,
no one is questioning your loyalty. No one is questioning your actions. However, you must
questioning his loyalty.
understand the frustration and the betrayal that is felt by a comrade of yours. What is it that Abaddon says, Eckhard, when it comes to friends along the road?
Loyalty earned is better than loyalty bought. You can't take it back once you have it.
Precisely.
I see your point, but technically it was Mr. Van Weaver that first threatened our employer, so wouldn't that count for something?
She walks out of the room and goes over to Bix.
I think that was a yes.
Bix, the high priestess, leans down, looking at the little weasel next to you, and as she does so, she looks at you, and there's a warm smile on her face, and she questions you. She goes, "Did he fight bravely?"
Yeah, he did his best. He even got a pretty good hit off on the hag.
Good. Well, then I think that's payment enough, don't you? And she's gonna reach down and she's gonna cast Cure Serious Wounds on him. And we're gonna see how much that does. 14 HP, not great, but 14 HP is better than nothing.
Yeah, he's awake again.
And she'll look to you, and there is an intensity in her eyes as she looks at Vix, and she says, You are a kind-hearted young man. I believe your friends in the other room, even Eckhard himself, will need your help in the trials to come.
Yeah, I'm afraid they will.
Don't abandon them. Don't abandon yourself.
God, I never should have come into this city.
That was your first mistake. And she boops your nose, and then she stands up, and she pivots back, goes over to Eckhard. The book, I will take it to the lower vault, and I believe our first order of operations should be discovering, excuse my language, but what in the fuck this is. And she looks over at Ven and smiles, and sees if he smiles back at her.
Ven will give her a rueful
Very good. Bundles it up, and then tucks it under her arm, turns back, goes to exit, and then stops. I'm going to propose something to the Queen. but I would like your blessing, all of your blessings. And she motions to Bix and Eckhard and everyone. For whatever reason, it seems that fate has brought you all together. I think... Let me ponder on this, but there is something there. Sorry, old mind not as sharp as it used to be. Your Majesty! And then she's going to hurry off down the hallway and go and speak with the Queen. But that leaves you all a moment to talk, discuss, and figure out what you're going to do next.
Well, I would like to hopefully
Do something to make this worse.
Well, I was going to say that I would like to gently and without any threat of violence ask some questions from this young lady once she is awake.
Over
Would
my
me.
dead body.
You
Let me give Vin some
that
advice
can
here
be
first.
arranged, but I would rather
Yeah,
avoid it.
you better.
Eckhard speaks up, and I'd like to give him a moment to interject here.
Yeah, you just said, just let me give you some advice first. Then, if either of you want to get out of this, you're going to need to start acting calmly. Whether or not you're guilty of anything or not doesn't matter if you're acting like you are. Just try and calm down. I know it isn't going to be easy, and I know what a sibling would mean to someone, even if she isn't strictly speaking. Just, if either of you have any hopes at this point, it's in acting calmly and rationally, and within the law, not against it. And he would
Well
give some
said.
legal advice with his profession barrister check there as to how not to further incriminate himself.
Then pulls out one of the chairs at the table and then sits down. Hands on the table in front of him, still bound apparently.
Yeah, Eckhard would do the same.
Bix and Polly jump up on the table.
Looks like
So that
Polly's in
they're,
better shape.
Yeah, the priestess healed him. She's pretty cool.
She's more than she seems, I think.
And then some.
Taxmaster?
Push his chair out and turn halfway around. What? Yes?
Hi. What does the horse eat? I've never, I'm not really good with horses. Oh, hi, Van. Why are his hands tied? He's good at
Hey,
horses,
Sarah.
right?
I've got some carrots in my bag here. You'll have to come and get them because the fox man over here thinks I'm a danger to myself and others.
I
Yes,
believe
master.
that it
What
has
is-
not even been 10 minutes since you threatened to kill everyone with an explosion.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure one of us did a thing and the other one of us just tried to get his sister out of danger. I'm trying to think who
Is
did
she
the
really
actual
your
violence.
sister?
Who did the violence? Oh, maybe if someone hadn't hit me in the head, I'd be able to think of the name.
Well, you should look into that. But for now, perhaps I could have this time.
Eat shit and die? Yep, you can. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm gonna walk over.
Taxmaster, I can't help but think that I missed all the action.
That was
Boy, did
intentional
you
when he had
ever.
explosives in his hand.
Seriously, Sarah, there is genuinely like 3 or 4 carrots still in here. They're not good for eating for us anymore.
She
They're
looks
too old. But
to Eckhard for permission to go over and grab the carrots.
He's not going to hurt you. You're not the queen. He kind of chuckles and looks at Vin.
She moves over,
Promise.
takes the carrots, and says, thank you. And then she's
One
going
at
to...
one at a time,
Oh,
and after each one, stroke them on the nose, gently.
all right. Winnie. All right. And she goes back outside. You hear the horse. And I imagine you all maybe sit in awkward silence for a few moments, maybe.
I'm looking to see if odife will wake up anytime soon.
She does, because I think it's narratively appropriate. She actually wakes up, and then you started untying her a little bit, and so like her arms, or like her legs are still tied, but her arms maybe are a little freer. And she starts to wake up. The first thing she sees is this pointy fox nose, and she
Smiling.
hello.
Hello.
Does anyone have anything to drink? My throat is so parched.
Of course. I will give her. Would you like water or
She nods.
Mikhael's special drink? Which one did she not?
She wants the water.
Yeah, that makes sense. I let her drink water.
And as
Hey,
she
Fief, don't trust him.
knocks it back, drinks it. It's obviously poison. She dies. Ven goes crazy. The building explodes in fire, and good game, everybody. No, I digress. So, with that in mind, she knocks it back, and then she looks around the room, making eye contact with everyone. And she finally settles on Ven, and she asks, "So, how screwed are we?"
It really depends on how rational people want to be.
Miss odife, was it?
She nods.
I assure you that the only reason you are tied up right now is for everyone's safety, including
No, it's because of who
yourself.
you're related to. So really, they're just judging you based on not having met you.
Let's not lie to her. She's there because she's a political prisoner at this moment.
I am not lying to her in the slightest.
He's absolutely lying to you.
I would never do that.
Another lie. Hey, I can do this all day, Foxman.
Miss odife,
I wish you wouldn't.
tell me, is it true that that you are in fact Godfrey's daughter?
Though her face is swollen, though her one eye is kind of like shut, it's got a black eye, you can see she's hesitating to answer that question.
Well, I can assure you, and I'm sure your brother will hold me to it, but I simply want to get to the bottom of this and have you be free as soon as possible.
Don't answer his questions. The moment they're done with you, they'll kill you. That's pretty much the expeditious route they've been taking so far. And clearly, they don't have any compunctions about that kind of thing.
That's
you
not
up.
that's not going to happen.
Oh,
It is
won't it?
entirely based.
Pretty sure
It's
I got
not-
knocked out and they beat her up for no reason. So I don't see any reason why either of us would have any trust for anyone in this room. Except maybe
Eckhard,
the legal. Paul, you're doing
Eckhard
pretty
looks
good.
back and forth like, I've done nothing.
What the
looking
shit did
affronted.
we do?
I will lean closer to odife and give her an earnest look and say, I really do wish the best for you and your brother.
Oh, hey, heads up. He can change shapes. So whatever expression he's
But-
giving you is probably just a.
But I really need to know the truth before that happens. Would you please tell me?
She looks over at Eckhard, who seems to be the only sane person. Her eyes quickly dart over to Bix as well, who seems to be the only person doesn't have ulterior motives. And then she locks back on between the two of you. What are your expressions telling her?
Mine is
Eckhart's
earnest,
kind
like I said.
of exasperated at Mikhael. Like there's no writ out yet for her interrogation. There's nothing. Like the queen has no legal stance on her yet.
Okay.
I think everybody's being terrible and want them all to stop. And I look annoyed and tired and hurt. And I just give her the if you're gonna say it, say it.
She looks back at Mikhael. Well, if I am to die then I will die having spoken the truth. Something my father rarely does. Yes, I am Godfrey's daughter.
No shit. I heard he doesn't even have a dick.
That is
Even
what I
Ven,
heard that
even
from.
Ven chuckles at that.
Oh man, that's messed up. It's messed up, but
That's
funny.
the rumor.
That is the rumor. That is the rumor. So what now, Foxman?
Well, like I said, I have no desire for you to die. In fact, I think you are very important. Same goes for your brother. And it is good to hear the truth from your lips, and I believe you. Now, is it true that you have ran away from your father and you are not on good terms, so to speak, right now?
Mind your fucking business.
My father never really cared about me. He stopped paying attention to me when he became obsessed with what he referred to as the children of Solaria.
You must
Is that-
hold some resentment for him in that case.
I resent the fact that he lies to me about having killed my mother. Yes.
And why do you think that he's lying about that?
Because my mother never returned. And he has her locket.
Very well. Now, since you came all this way here, I imagine that he is in fact looking for you still.
He can't find me.
What makes you so certain?
Because he's not looking.
Now, I've believed you until now, but this seems
Just
rather
like everything
unlikely.
that fucking madman does, I was just another one of his little projects, and then he got bored with me on his goddamn quest to become... And she starts to get angry, and then she starts to cough. She starts to kind of lose herself in this moment on his goddamn quest to become god of magic. By the way, Ven, you feel it break. Feel them break.
I think Bix is reacting to that right now.
Yeah, I'm actually right before that happens. I'm doing something. Then I'll just talk it out. Bix, I imagine with that roll would probably have smelled the ropes charring.
I think so.
He stands up on the table, like very quietly, like he's doing this as unobtrusively as he can. I mean, he's not like a big dude, and walks over and comes up right next to Vin and says, "Just calm down and stop being such a drama queen." He jumps down, unties the ropes, and then looks up at him. Now just sit still and shut the fuck up. And he jumps back up on the table and walks and sits back down with Polly.
Yeah. Eckhard shrugs, looking at Bix. I'm not his bailiff.
I'm busy talking
Yeah.
to odife and listening to odife. Did she finish the last thing she was saying?
That's what she was saying, yep.
Okay. Yes, that seems like a very earnest anger that you are expressing, and that I am glad to see it.
Give me a sense motive, Mikhael.
Very well.
She's been honest with you about everything, but that anger felt a little bit showy. It felt a little bit over the top.
I still say that.
You don't know why. You don't know if she was intentionally lying or just trying to obfuscate. I can't say the word. Yeah,
Obfuscate.
that's the word.
Obfuscate.
Obfuscate. There it is. But yeah, man. That was the only thing she's told you so far that you don't 100% believe.
Okay. I still act like I believe it.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure you have realized that the queen is a bit set on getting revenge about some things, and that involves you. I would personally like to avoid that. But for me to be able to convince the queen to see how useful you are in other ways and how precious your life is and how your brother loves you, I think that you should make yourself useful in earnest so that she sees the same thing I see.
She looks over at Van. And then she looks over at Eckhard. And her voice changes. It's a little bit more stern. She sounds even a little less injured in this moment. Under whose authority does he interrogate me?
No
I'm
one's
simply asking questions.
I don't think any of us have any authority.
Then I'm done answering questions, Foxman.
That is
Foxman.
entirely up to you.
You smell burning rope as well. As you look down, you notice that her bindings that were at her ankles are no longer binding her. She's completely free. She hasn't made a move. She hasn't tried to pivot away, but she's sitting there, and if she wanted to, she could get up.
Well, you were never under any obligation to answer questions to me. Like I said many times, and I see truly no reason why anyone would think I'm lying. I'm seeking simply the best for everyone in this room.
So if I was to get up, take my brother's hand, and leave, that would be acceptable?
Well, I do not think that would be, in fact, the best for everyone in the room.
And who are you to make that decision for us?
I mean, I am simply speaking my mind. Is that not...
Eckhard and Vix, perception checks, please.
I can see things.
The floor of this room, which Eckhard, knowing how most mints are created, is right above where the main vault is located. The floor is starting to look a little frosty.
Hmm.
The book is still feeding on our emotions or something. He kind of stamps his foot on the floor and makes a clacky ice noise.
Mm-hmm.
Is it emotions or is it this magic that everyone keeps casting despite us having a civil conversation?
What precisely was civil about the queen beating me in within an inch of my life and then threatening to slit my throat?
I was not.
What was
part of
civil
that,
about
I
sneaking
assure
up behind somebody and hitting him in the back of the head with a sap and then tying him up?
You know what?
At
Maybe my father was right. Maybe you are a bunch of uncivilized couths that need to be put down. And her eyes start to kind of like get a little fiery. And you actually watch as the black eye starts to kind of recede, and she starts to look like her wounds are kind of starting to heal up a little bit.
Oh, fuck, man, you've done it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock her out or try to again because
The minute he winds
No,
up,
guys,
Ben will
stop.
tap.
I
Stop.
don't want to. So if someone can stop me, then do it. But that's what they would do.
I'm going to prestidigitate like a bunch of like flashing lights, like, hey, guys, Stop.
Bunch of like little firecrackers go off. Everyone's
like,
eyes are put towards them.
Very,
We see
very,
Bix,
very
yes.
gnomey magic. Just like
It's
illusions
enough to
like
break
everywhere.
the tension. The fieriness in Godfrey's eyes have diminished. Mikhael, you haven't hit her yet, and Bix is now up on the table. Please take the scene.
Just no. You have done nothing but talk all fucking night. Shut up. Nobody cares. Yes, you're mad. Cool. You're not special, especially anymore. You, and he points at Mikhael, shut the fuck up too. Why? We just took out a hag together. I thought we were fucking friends. At least we were starting to be. And we were trying to help the kingdom. And then all of a sudden, we come back and the queen realized that she was the dickless one's daughter. And honestly, can you blame her for freaking out a little bit? No. You reacted poorly to this, and that was understandable also. Can anyone blame him for reacting the way he did?
Took a stand by son's relations.
Where are you pointing
I'm pointing
Ven.
at Ven.
The guy like slowly raises their hand a bit.
You can't blame him. You, and he points at Mikhael, were following the orders of your queen because somehow you are part of the kingdom. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. You're following the queen's orders. And that also is understandable because she's the queen and you're a citizen, at least, of this kingdom. Everyone has been acting within their character, but rationally, but they've all been taking things to the extreme. I almost feel as if this book of pure evil, negative, raging emotions that keeps trying to like take over this building that we're in, maybe that has something to do with why you're all being a bunch of assholes. So why don't you try talking and stop threatening, and for the love of fuck, stop yelling. And he just sits back down and starts petting Polly.
The frost on the floor seems to recede ever so slightly. Just a little bit.
That is very interesting. Now, that was a good speech, Bix, and I agree with really most of it. Does this are you opposed to be talking right now about things?
But as long as we're talking and not sapping or tying, why don't we all just sit down and talk?
I look over to odife, who was about to
I think
curse me to my bone or something just 5 seconds ago.
Eckhard.
I think that you, Vin, are within your right to be angry, and you, Mikhael, are within your right to pursue your career, and the queen is within her right to do whatever she wishes under her royal prerogative. What we need to do is not get stomped by that royal prerogative, specifically we being Vin and odife.
If I may, I know that for some reason that no one trusts me around here, but I do not know why. But I do, in fact, want to get both of them out of their bad situation. And if my sapping was received negatively, then I apologize. It was instinct, really, and I think it it led to some positive outcomes, but of course, I will not do it again if we would like to avoid violence, and I apologize.
What if he goes to stand up, placing her hand on Ven's shoulder for stability? She's walking a little slowly, and then we'll take a seat down next to him to join you all at the table. Unless you stop her, Mikhael. The frost on the floor has almost all but receded. However, I'm curious, Ven. How are you feeling? What does your expression say in this moment? Is any of this, like, settling in for you? Or are you still fired up?
I think Ven has realized that this is not the time, and that there's at least two people in here whose opinions he still, or sorry, at least three people in this room, and a weasel whose opinions he still cares about.
The weasel gives you 2 weasel thumbs up.
he finger guns.
Does Eckhard know of any legal loophole to get Vin at least freed? Because I mean, I know Vin, all he did was act rashly. Is there any? Odife is a political prisoner who has significance, but Vin just acted out of turn. Is there anything that he could say that would more or less be like, yeah, he's been held, he's calm now, it's good?
Yeah, he could be placed under the stewardship of someone that is selected by the queen. And, basically, his actions are now a direct reflection of that person, but then they are basically let out on parole because, at this point, he threatened the queen, so the next step would probably be throw him into jail.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But some logic could be, some reason if he was placed under a
I object. I didn't threaten the queen. I just told her what the consequences would be if she didn't do the thing I asked her to do.
Yeah, that's a threat to a queen, dude.
Eckhard would forward this to Mikhael and say, if we want to continue on whatever they're going to send us on out here, the banker walked away with fire in her eyes. She's going to send us on something. She wants to stay together. Will you accept stewardship over Vin to get him released if you so have his interest in your heart?
You're asking this to Mikhael?
Yes, if Mikhael truly has Vin's best interests at heart, stewardship over Vin.
Isn't stewardship like a thing a noble does to someone, or
no? Well, no. Stewardship being like take what he just described, a legal stewardship, like not a conservatorship, but like being responsible for him.
Word. Yeah, you'd be responsible for him. He would be released under not your custody, but under your watchful eye. His actions would be a direct reflection of what you do. You would basically speak for him, and if he was to power of attorney. Almost. I like it at drill. Thank you.
Mikhael goes, well, of course I would if I had any right to, but I do not think...
Excellent. I'll make the argument as soon as the queen returns.
Very well. Of course, I'm open to it, although I think that you would be more suited to the position. He does trust you more, after all.
Trust has nothing to do with it. His actions are what have to do with it. And you're the one who claimed to have his best interest at heart, not me. I gave legal advice.
And the queen seems to be more inclined to listen to you for some reason.
It's because I'm very trustworthy.
Yeah. You realize I've been friends with you for years, right?
Yes, and you know how trustworthy I am.
I do know how trustworthy you are.
Thank you.
0 is an amount on the scale, yes.
It's true. Not 0. It's not 0.
Okay.
Better than 0.
Some is an amount on the scale.
That is hilarious.
Well, would Mr. Van Weber be up for that?
Oh, I'm under arrest. I don't get a say.
Well,
I'm trying to think how that happened. Oh.
Then
it happened because you threatened the queen. Let's be clear. He placed you under arrest, but your actions did it for yourself. Please, can we calm down?
Oh, I'm calm.
frost under the thing gets a little bit more intense with that outburst from Ven.
What? I'm calm. I'm calm.
And was there a knock at the door you said, or has that not
Yeah.
happened yet?
No. I was just waiting for you guys because you were in a good moment. I didn't want to interrupt. But
Yeah, of course.
Dawkins is standing at the door and it's just knock, knock, knock. So how are things in here? I see that everyone's sitting and
There is an evil
one's
book underneath this floor that threatens to kill us all if things stop being calm.
it's an interesting plot device. Anyway, the queen has and he chooses his words carefully, reconsidered her present position, but would like to speak with Eckhard and Mikhael, both the queen and the high priestess.
Eckhard would push his chair back, stand at the table. Please don't bolt. That will look so much worse. You're looking at Ven.
Ven has the most practiced, innocent expression on his face. Like, me?
As the two of you,
Before I'm just gonna
Really?
turn
Okay.
to Doc and say, did the Queen request a private talk with us, or should we bring along the rest of our companions?
just the two of you.
Very well. I turn back to Van and the rest, and I say, "Well, I tried." And then I go with them.
And he's going to step into, just kind of like stand by the doorway. And you both can move yourselves up to this office where the queen and the high priestess are at. But we're going to have a quick moment here where then in your head, you hear Odife's voice. And you recognize this as a message spell. And she is she's speaking to you, and she simply states, we have to figure out how to get out of here, and we have to get that book. I'm gonna let you ponder that for a moment as we pivot over to the office where the queen is sitting. She looks a little more put together. The high priestess is also sitting at this table. And the two of you walk in, and she turns to you. Oh, hello again. I see no one's dead. That's a good thing.
Oh, the two of us aren't.
Oh, well, the other's dead?
Not yet.
Convenient. Good. That's better for... I digress. Anyway, I was just discussing with the Queen the interesting novel that you brought into the mint here, and I was proposing a kind of, well, that is to say, I believe we could all help each other, is what I'm trying to say. And the queen is very quiet. She's just looking at the two of you. She's looking more at Mikhael than she is at Eckhard, but she speaks up. It would appear that this book you brought is some sort of evil artifact, and well, I don't have many that I can trust, nor many allies remaining that are wholeheartedly loyal to myself, my family, and the crown. She then now looks specifically at Eckhard. The high priestess has spoken very highly of you. You are a man of honor and a man of your word. So, I am offering you a position, both of you, on my council, as it were.
What would such a position entail? What duties? What responsibilities?
You would act as my... And you, and those that you call allies, would act as my agents in the field. In my attempt to secure power within this city, and eventually an attempt to retake all of Solaria back for rightful rulers.
He'd look to the high priest. I assume I've been released for such a duty,
She
if I
nods
should
her
accept
head.
it.
It is entirely up to you, my boy. You know there is always a place here for you and work to be done inside the mint. But I think Sarah can act in those interests. And she smiles a little bit. From outside, you hear a Winnie. No, no, not both carrots at the same time. And yeah.
I cannot promise to place your interests above that of the church, but I can promise to place them in a high regard. First and foremost, I'm a man of the church, not the country.
Nods her head. If the country is to fall, then the church will likely no longer remain. If anyone thinks that Godfrey will allow other religions to exist inside of his new order, candidly speaking, they haven't been paying attention.
I'm not saying ours won't align. I'm saying that my interests are aligned with the church, not with yours. Though, obviously accepting a position that will tend them closer to yours.
She nods. The high priestess nods, and she looks to Mikhael. She lingers on him for a moment. And what of you, businessman?
Well, I think in my case, such a title would be more of a formality rather than anything else. And my loyalties will remain in the same place either way.
She nods her head. Very well. As for the young sorcerer and the other one, she looks to Mikhael again and then stops and turns to Eckhard. Since you are now a part of my council, I seek your wisdom. What would you have me do?
Place Odife under house arrest to maintain her in your grasp, but a comfortable house arrest as you might show a foreign noble lost in the field of battle. Release Venmavar to Mikhael's charge here, so we can continue doing what we are going to be assigned to do. Perhaps issue an apology for your rash treatment of Odife, your emotional treatment of Odife, not her arrest. And I would certainly pay us for services rendered to smooth some feathers here, even if that is on loan of the mint. Particularly in Venravar's and Bix's case.
High priestess is nodding. And the queen is almost like emotionless in this moment. She's just taking it all in. The high priestess was correct. You are wise beyond your years, cleric.
Thank you.
If this is acceptable to all gathered here, then it shall be done. But I would request...
If I may, I have something to add. While I remain in the position of thinking that the prisoner Odife should be treated with care, and obviously remaining here, I also firmly believe that she is extremely dangerous as a person.
And with that, we're going to pivot back to the other room where Odife has just sent a message spell to Ven and is like looking at him, and you notice her wounds look a little less. She's still bruised and looks a little messed up, but she looks over at Ven and she's just looking to see what his expression says right now.
Ven goes from initially being like, to wait, what? Because the book is evil. I don't want an evil book.
The book isn't evil. It's only evil in the wrong hands. I need that book.
It's called the Book of Shadows. Like I couldn't read much else on it, but it's definitely a black book of evil magic. They don't bind good magic in black. Besides, you don't need a book. I can teach you magic. It's just like an internal thing. You just like flex your magic muscle and fire comes out like dreams.
And not all of us are sorcerers like you.
Well, then we rob the library, but we don't take the evil book from the big vault full of gold.
That book is the only way I can get back to the Arcanum.
Why do you want to go back? The Arcanum sucks. It's cold. There's a guy with a whip. Besides, there's got to be other ways in. Don't you have one of those tattoos that we can engage?
Look, are you gonna help me? Bix, make a perception check.
Took you long enough.
As they've been talking, it's been getting louder and louder, and you're catching the next part of this conversation. You're hearing this, and she's like, "Look, I'll explain it to you once we have the book, but we need to get that book."
What if I can't? I can't. That book is dangerous. I'll help you find another way, but I'm not stealing a book. I'll steal you out of here, sure. The book, we'd leave the book behind. Listen, we may be able to hide. You in a big evil book? That's so much magic, I can't even look at it with detect magic.
She looks disappointed, but then the intensity that we have to get the book fades. Okay, then. I trust you. She turns over to Bix. So her voice is different. It's a lot more just like cordial, friendly. There's this intensity in her voice, but now it's just like, so are you from the area or do you just visit here? Also,
Yeah,
thanks for sticking up for us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I just want everything to, well, I mean, it's tough for things to be okay, but I want things to be better.
Holly nods his head up and down.
Probably too.
So what are the best places to visit while you're in town? What do you recommend?
Well, I'm a big fan of the tavern whose name I can't remember right now.
Lindsay Bear.
Yeah, that one. And let me pull up a map of the town so I can remember what's in it.
Yeah, take your time, man.
There. Is Dawkins standing in the door, like the door is open, or is he outside?
He's outside a little bit. He's not even facing you. He's just kind of like standing guard. His view is down the hallway towards the direction of the queen, where the queen is.
So Ven's gonna go over and be like, "Hey, man, I just want to tell you, like, I'm sorry I threatened to blow up your gun. I know those things are super valuable. I'd like to think that under other circumstances, you and I might have been friends, but at the very least, I wanted you to know I respect you. And if I compromised if I crossed some sort of line when I was trying to fight for my sister, I'm really sorry."
Dawkins like looks over. He's startled at first, and he looks over, and you might expect his expression to be anger or like he doesn't trust you, but he actually smiles and nods his head. We've all been through quite a bit, not only over the last couple of days, but over the last couple of months, and if you ever do that again, I'll kill you. But in this moment, I forgive you.
Deal. And Ven will extend his hand to shake.
He'll shake his hand. Yeah.
Cool.
He likes it. He likes it. And with that, we pivot back over to the other chamber. And Yeah. Anything else that
Where
Mikhael
where, where
wanted to add?
Mikhael was like,
Yeah.
yes, she is very dangerous. She should not be trusted. She will lie if necessary to get out of the situation, and I recommend you pay very close attention to what she is doing. And ensure that she can't cast any spells if possible.
Queen nods. Is this acceptable to you as well, Eckhard? She
Nods.
looks to the High Priestess. High Priestess nods. We have a chamber of magical muting, anti-magic, I believe it is. I could have her secured in there for the time being, and it would be comfortable. We would ensure she is well looked after, cared for, but it would prevent her from... She wiggles her fingers. Pew pew.
Good.
That'll be suitable.
Now about this weird evil hag book. Is there any chance we can do something about that?
Well, that is precisely what we're going to have you investigate. We'd like you to begin your research in the local library. We will begin to study the book here, and hopefully we can discover what its purposes are. Obviously, it was being carried by the hag, correct?
Is it being confiscated by the state?
The queen looks to the high priestess looks to the queen, and then back to you. It is being held here for safekeeping, but not directly confiscated by the state at this time.
He says, then would the state perhaps buy it off of us? I don't think they're going to like surrendering something to, well, being held apart from our own, away from our own devices for nothing.
The queen nods, and she will look to the high priestess of Abadar, who says, "We've
And
already prepared payment." And she takes out 4 envelopes and passes all 4 to actually Eckhard. And one of them is for Mikhael, one of them's for Eckhard, one of them's for Bix, and even one is for Venvar, surprisingly enough.
Eckhard will pass the one to Mikhael there and say, well, that handles that. It's now the state's problem.
Lovely. Boy, I'm sure I'm glad I'm not the state right now. Is there anything else?
They nod. Let us know what you discover, and be careful. Even though we have defeated this hag, I think the troubles in this town are only beginning. And as you all exit back out, you head back down the hallway. Dawkins passes, heads back over to the other area. Odife is still sitting there. Her wounds again look less and less intense as time goes on. And give you guys a moment to explain to the others what's happening.
Well, then you're a free man in Mikhael's charge now. You've been paid. Mikhael and I are now on the Queen's Council, as it stands. And we've been charged with investigating that book, which the state has bought from us for... He kind of looks at the letter that's still sealed for an unknown sum. And
Does anyone open their letter?
I mean, the minute that Eckhard hands it to him, Ven will...
Yeah, and he'll hand the other one to Bix as well.
Yeah, I'll open it.
1,500 gold each.
Ooh.
Wow.
Sick.
I assume it's a banknote for the men.
Correct. Yep.
Cat
No, just all the
shame.
coins just spill out of the table. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a magic letter. No, it's just a banknote. Yeah, you got it.
It's a letter of holding.
And
Oh, that'd be the most inconvenient thing ever.
And Odife actually pipes up. She goes, "And what of me?"
I have advocated that you be placed under comfortable house arrest, and the Queen issues a formal apology for her treatment of you.
So I'm still a prisoner then?
I negotiated for what I could. or what I had reason to negotiate for that matter.
Where will I be held?
Eckhard shrugs, unless he knows the location of this
You can
vault.
presume here. It's here.
Oh, at the Mint, a room will be made for you. You'll be placed under a light guard. Well, an unobtrusive guard, I should say.
Very well. I accept. Not that I have a choice in the matter.
Can I send note of that?
You
Ven
absolutely
gives her a
can.
look, and then
Eckhard
never
nods,
mind.
and as a gentleman takes this as her offering him his parole, offering her parole and good conduct, and thinks no more of it.
Yeah, Mikhael, I mean, maybe she's finally just settled down. You're not picking up anything weird.
That must
from
be
her.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ven,
I'm
who is now
confident.
sitting across the table from him, puts his hand down for her to put her hand in his,
She does so.
and then he clutches it and goes, "Don't worry, I got you. Do you need anything? Apparently, I'm newly paid.
I need you to stay alive.
Cool. Can do. I'll get you some honeymead too. I know that's your favorite. I'll bring it by."
She nods. Well, it was an interesting afternoon, wasn't it?
What I expected.
Say the least.
A couple of acolytes of the Abadarian Church, the Mint, come in. They request that odife follow them. Odife does not protest. They don't grab her. They don't chain her. They just walk her away. And she is taken into the basement level of the Mint. And I moved her
Locked
around.
away forever.
Locked away into darkness. But she is taken down into that area. And with that, I'm curious as to where you guys would want to go. Where would you head off to?
Day of rest. Eckhard
Day of
needs his
rest.
spells. I think Ven is completely spent. Vix is completely spent.
I'm out.
Nah,
Yeah.
I've got a bunch more spells.
So as all of you prepare to, have a day of rest and head off and go and kind of gather yourselves, I think our...
Ven plasters himself to Mikhael. Apparently, I'm your responsibility. So where we get it, boss. Oh, also, you're gonna need to pay for my inn room, and also turns out I ran up quite a bill at the feed store, feeding a bunch of the horses. I told them it'd be on credit, but since I'm your responsibility now.
Of course. Nothing but the best for my charts.
And I think our last scene is the 5 of you with Bix and Polly with Polly walking out, and you see this massive steed. Its hair almost looks like it's made of shadows. And you see Sarah feeding it the last of the carrots, and then it looks over, and as it looks over at Eckhard, it says, "Hello." And that is our last scene for tonight. Great job, everybody. That was fun. I wish we could keep going. I'm fighting a sore throat, and it's starting to. My voice is starting to crack. It's starting to go. Like I could feel that fire in the back of my throat. Yeah. But I know it's a little bit of a kind of a contained episode in here, but I think a lot of intense and important things got done. So I just want to compliment.
That felt like 4 hours.
Really, really want to compliment Drubaka tonight for that just fiery, emotional, passionate speech, and as well as Azrael and Axel. Even Eckhard. I mean, everybody did a good job tonight. Seriously, like everyone did a great job tonight, and I appreciate that the group is comfortable enough with each other to get intense, but it's just in character. Like there was a couple moments where I was like a little uncomfortable. I was like, oh damn, this shit's getting real. Like I like it though, because that's what this is all about. Is that you guys are comfortable enough with each other to do it. So
Yeah.
very, very, very. That was all acting, right? Yeah, it was all acting. It was all acting. Actually, Brian super hates Axel, but I digress. Yeah, but you will see these fine gentlemen back here next Wednesday. Hopefully my throat isn't dying, and they will begin their investigation into the Book of Shadow to figure out what the hell that is. And also, I guess Eckhard's horse can talk now. It's weird. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Time.
It's probably nothing. But in the meantime, any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns from the party before we send them on their merry way? No? Awesome.
Good game,
For
guys.
the session.
Yeah,
Good game,
yeah.
everybody. And as I always say, thank you everyone for watching. and happy gaming. We'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.